Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review and back reviewing the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. And now we get into the fourth one, which I think is a great sequel. Many consider one of the best in the series. That is Part Four, The Dream Master. And I would have to agree, it is considered one of the best in the series, and I really do enjoy the sequel. I think um, like I said, as for sequels goes, I still say my favorite is still part two. It still is, but this is very close second. I really love the Dream Master, and then the next be three, the Dream Warriors, and Nightmare on Elm Street Part Four, the Dream Master. Now, because since Chuck Russell directed the previous one, now this time it's directed by Renny Harlin, a great director, I would say, by Renny Harlin. He's directed a lot of good films, from Die Hard 2 to Cliffhanger, the Adventures of Ford Fairlane, Deep Blue Sea. I really love, um, and he also directed a film called Mine Hunters, which I do like that one. Exorcist the Beginning. I think that was a decent one. I think I prefer over the other Exorcist prequel, Dominion. But I don't think Renny Harlin did do that bad of a job. But it's decent though. It's not great. It's like a little bit below, just a little bit just average, I would say. But regardless though, I don't overall hate overall like don't hate but like decent of Exorcist the Beginning. And he also directed a film called Prison as well, which I like. I haven't seen that film in a long time, but I do remember liking it. So Renny Harlin, I really do enjoy him as a director. And this when this came out, this film was a big hit. It was made about almost 50 million worldwide, and it was the highest grossing one of the series until when Freddy vs. Jason came out. So, but this film was a big, huge hit for the series, as for New Line Cinema as well. And if you have let's see for the cast members coming back for the previous one, Patricia Arquette, who played Kristen in part three, she didn't come back. So we got this a new girl played by Tuesday Night, but I don't think she didn't do that bad of a job as Kristen, replacing Kristen. But I think Patricia Arquette, she didn't choose to do it. I think looking up. I think that she was. I think she didn't choose to do it. I think that she was like pregnant at the time. I think, and that's why she didn't do it. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's one. I think that's the reason, if not one of the reasons, if not the reason. So, but the girl Tuesday Night who played Kristen, I don't think she was not that bad as replacing Patricia Arquette. But you got Ken Sagoes who comes back as Kincaid, Ronnie Eastman as Joey, and then we get just more new characters. You got Lisa Wilcox as Alice, which I think she did a really good job in this film. And I would say considered besides like Nancy Langenkamp, I thought this Lisa Wilcox as the character Alice. I thought she's one of the best characters of the series to me. And like how when I'll get to her when I get to her, but she does a really good job though, and especially when she gets into the third act as well. And then you get introduced to more other characters, like her. She has like in the Alice. She has her brother named Rick, and then she has other ones like Debbie and Sheila, and also you got Dan as well. And of course, Robert coming back, and how it takes place. Okay, taking place after the Dream Warriors. Kristen, she's still, even though Freddy's gone, but she's still a little bit little bit a little bit paranoid, thinking because she actually she pulls Kincaid and Joey into her dreams again, and there you tell her no, he's gone. You don't need to do this no more. But then with her friends Alice and with her brother Rick, which is also Kristen's boyfriend, and with Alice, like she, kind of a quiet, shy girl, but Bible and their father, he is a little bit of a drunk. Well, like what John Sex was in the third film though, but even also like the Nancy's mom in the first film as well. But but her father is like a little bit of a drunk, and then just one night, with the Kincaid, like he has a dog named Jason. Kind of funny how that is, because he gets put into that junkyard where Freddy was buried, and the dog Jason, it pisses fire and just creates this, basically like this in the poster, how the ground opens up and the bones, they just reconnect and Freddy comes back. And which is quite funny is that the dog's name is Jason, and Jason brought Freddy back. And it's kind of funny, in the Freddy vs. Jason, Freddy brings Jason back. I gotta find out how funny that is, because, hey, this Jason brings Freddy back, and then it's a funny thing. It's just, maybe they did that on purpose, does it not for Jason Voorhees, maybe for the dog, though, but it's kind of a funny thing. So, he comes back, and Kincaid, he pushes a car on top of, on Freddy, he's like, hey, take that, motherfucker! But it does no good. He gets trapped, and then saying Freddy's back, and he gets stabbed, sadly. And he says, I'll see you in hell. So that's another thing. That's an issue. He kills the last of the Dream Warriors in this, so that is an issue because they're likable characters, and well, the rest of the other ones they're also likable too as well. But killing the Dream Warriors, because it's a trend, in horror films. When you bring characters back, usually they kill them off. So it's not all that shocking and surprising, because it happens a lot in horror films. Bring original characters back, and then eventually they kill them off. It's a trend. So what's done is done. So Kincaid gets killed, and the next is Joey, which he has this thing with sees a girl, like a poster on his wall, and then he sees her in her water bed. In his waterbed, then Freddy pops up, drags him in, kills him. Like when his mom comes back to lift the sheets, he's inside the waterbed. It's funny. That was a cool thing. Like he's inside the waterbed, and because this is, and Kristen tells about Freddy Krueger, and then eventually one thing leads to another. Her Kristen's mom, because she got getting enough sleep, so she slipped a sleep-in pill in her drink. So, and he's like, what? You thanks, Mom. You just murdered me, and she forced her to fall asleep. And like she's on a beach, dreaming she's on a beach, and then you get Freddy's glove doing like the Jaws thing, like as a fin going through the water, then on the beach, and he has glasses on. Then he went to back into the boiler room, and then Kristen, she drags Alice into her dreams, and before she dies, she gave Alice her power of the Dream Master. So he gave her power. She gave her power before she gets tossed in, and then in reality, she's burned alive in her bed. So, which is a good effect, of the victim of being burned alive. Nice fire effect. So, and I like this little bit, because now that Alice has Kristen's power, but also like as the film progresses, each person who died from Freddy, like she kind of like Alice inherits like that little bit of persona from the other people. Like when a Kristen, like she smoked, but then Alice in the school bathroom, like all of a sudden she starts picking up a cigarette and almost about to light, and it's like, wait a minute, I don't smoke, because that was a little thing that Kristen did. or just picking up stuff from her later on, because the next thing with her friend Sheila, who's a little bit of a smart person, and she has asthma, and she Alice pulls her into her dream, and they're stuck in the desks, and Freddy Krueger's there, and like he walks up to Sheila, it's like, it's like, you want to suck face, and then just kissed her, but basically it's a good effect where he's like sucking everything out of her, like deflating her. It's a really good effect as well, and but in reality, it makes it seem like she had an asthma attack. And once again, it's just real creative and imaginative all these dreams, because like each one is even more creative, imaginative with the dreams as well, ideas as well, and then she then Alice picks up a little bit of persona from her friends, and she also had this little device that she made for Alice to help as well. So, and then the next thing, with her brother Rick, like he gets pulled in the dream, and like he's in this little, because he does martial arts and stuff, and he's in this type of martial art type of room, and Freddy's like invisible, and he's punching and whatever, beating him, and then he fights back and kicks away the glove. And he's like, "What are you gonna do now without your weapon?" Then the glove just flies up and pierces him, and so he gets a little, and she gets a little bit of her power. She learns quickly how to do martial arts, like which with a nunchuck. She's just like, how did I do that? And the next, I like this other idea where she goes to a movie theater, and she gets sucked into the theater, and you see like in the theater, the people standing in the theater seats are her dead friends and brother as well. They're all standing up and clapping, right? Like Kincaid and Sheila and her brother, they're all, and Joey and everyone else. They're all in the theater, still, like while she's in the film screen. They're all standing up and clapping, and then she's like in the diner, like where she works, but it's like abandoned. And like Freddy orders this pizza, and has like a meatball pizza, and the meatball has like a face, and he eats it. And he says, bring me more and all that. So I like the whole like I said, really using of creative or imaginative stuff, like for using this dream stuff, and just really good different ideas, and I like that. So, and then and then she's talking with Dan, and then talk about with Freddy and all that, and like next to with her friend Debbie, like she needs to they're gonna go to Debbie's place and to talk, come up with a plan, and then Freddy messes with them. She makes him basically make him drive all the way around in circles, like the same place where they've been at, and with her friend Debbie, while she's like lifting weights and all that, and I also think she's afraid of bugs. She's afraid of bugs, and Freddy kind of like breaks her arms and makes her have bug arms, like breaks her arms, but it's becoming like bug arms, and then she falls in the those where those bug traps, where those things they like glue, where they you trap bugs in. When she falls on it, and then her face peels off, and her body peels off, and it's really well done effects, and it becomes like an insect herself. And Freddy is holding the container in his hands, looking through, and he's like, you check in, check out, just crushes it. So once again, and Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund once again is doing a really good job as Freddy Krueger. And then it's just those two left, and while driving, like think that she sees Freddy, but that actually drives into a tree. Dan gets hurt, and he's gonna be put under, and with everything happening now, and with all the stuff that she's inherited now, really get this really good, great scene where Alice, she gears herself up, and you have that really cool rock music playing, and she's gearing up, getting all the stuff ready, and he says, fucking A. And then when Freddy Krueger is in visiting Dan, and while he's on the dream and on the operating table, and he goes like, "Well, it ain't Dr. Seuss." And Alice jumps into the mirror into the dream and helps Dan, and then Freddy Krueger, like they're all it's like this it's like you see in a fun house, but like it's spinning. He spins it, and they're all rolling and all that, and but Dan, he fades up because he wakes up because the doctors, they help to recover him. He's fine, so yeah, so he wakes up out of the dream as he fades away. But with Alice though, she's fighting Freddy Krueger, in this church, and using all this stuff though, but like picking him, beating him up, and using that one device that her friend gave her. But nothing all does it do really any good though, because he has as long as he has the souls and all that stuff, he's immortal and all that. But it reminds me of the rhythm that she said, which she told Kristen, that being the Dream Master makes him sees his own reflection through this stained glass piece, and all the souls, really, once again, well done effects, how all the souls, the victims he has, they all just coming out of him, and just really how Freddy Krueger gets defeated, and eventually he just falls, all but his clothes just fall into the floor, and she kicks away the glove, and then with her and Dan, the founders, like, make a wish, and she sees Freddy's reflection, says, "What do you wish for?" And can't tell you, it won't come true. As they walk away. So part 4 of the Dream Master, I really love this sequel. It's really great. I can see why it's been called one of the best in the franchise. It's a really great sequel, and although it got a little bit mixed up, but I think it went on more positive as well. Even though it's like a 5.6 in IMDb and has a 56% Rotten Tomatoes. I think they say it's like people to a little bit down for the part 3, but whatever. It's just like I said, I would give this much higher rating. I really love the Dream Master, part 4 of the Dream Master. Renny Harlin does a great job with this film as the cast. Well, for the turning cast members like Kincaid and Joey, they were fine, but it was sad to see them go. And on Tuesday night, she was fine as Kristen, replacing Patricia Arquette, but she was fine. But Lisa Wilcox, who plays Alice, I thought she did a really great job. Definitely one of the best characters of this series. And just you feel bad for her friends, but she gets all this persona powers from her friends and her brother. And then and I really like when she's just gearing up to fight Freddy. You have that really awesome music playing, which I have to bring up though, because Rammer Rough for Life, that he used that in his intro. That's that piece of music that was from this here, which I really like that music as well. But sadly though, it hasn't got released in that not officially released this part of the music that you used in the film. So. But I really like that song, but it's not released, so. But, well, and also you get some well done effects, and you got more creative, imaginative stuff going on in the Dream stuff. Still do. But the idea with a movie theater and more of Robert Englund's fun lines as well, and more likable characters, and the score by because the previous one was I forget the other one's name, but that was a good score in the previous one, the Dream Warriors. But Craig Safon, I thought it was a good score as well. And Renny Harlin does a really good job in the film. But my favorite, of course, my favorite films of his will always be Die Hard 2, Deep Blue Sea, and Cliffhanger. Those are my 3 favorites from Renny Harlin. But he did a really good job with the film for making of a Nightmare on Elm Street film. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention he also directed The Long Kiss Goodnight, like it says on the back here. He also directed The Long Kiss Goodnight as well. And for 99 minutes, it's really fast paced as well. It's like a little bit, I think it's longer than the previous ones, but still was a really good paced film. And yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, really enjoy it. Love the sequel. But yeah, thanks for watching. But stay tuned for the next entry is what we get to. Sadly, the first big. If people say Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 was a step down, this is 5, The Dream Master. This I would consider a step down, where people say, which I would disagree with Part 2 being a step down. This I say is a step down. So you'll see on that though. But great sequel, love it. One of the best, definitely agree with that. But stay tuned for this one. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for this. Later.